All right, well, how can a voice to Parliament fix this? And in the simplest terms you can manage, what can you tell the Australian people about how the voice will make a difference and why it's necessary?
Well, the voice is about two things. It's about recognition, that is giving people respect in our nation's birth certificate, and it's about consultation. It's about giving people a right to have a say. And as the Uluru Statement said itself, it said in 1967 we were counted, in 2017 they're asking to be heard. So for 120 years, decisions have been made in this city and before it in Melbourne or in the capital cities of states and territories on behalf of Indigenous Australians. What we need to do is to make decisions with Indigenous Australians and listen to them. And the reason why it will make a difference, the voice isn't the end. The voice is the means to the end. The voice is the vehicle by listening to people to get better practical outcomes, to close the gap which is there in health, in education, in housing, in life expectancy, in justice outcomes. And we know that the programs that are most effective, justice reinvestment programs, community health programs, Indigenous park rangers, are ones that have involved and got the ownership of Indigenous Australians themselves, where solutions have been imposed from outside. It has fed into what is seen as the torment of powerlessness, as Noel Pearson speaks about as well, that if you feel as though you're not listened to, you're powerless, then you don't have hope going forward. No one's saying that these issues are easy. If they were, governments, which of all persuasions have tried with the best of intentions. But the truth is that in 2023, we still have extraordinarily large gaps in all of those key indicators.
All right, Peter Dutton, as you know, keeps saying you haven't provided enough detail. He wrote to you, he says there's not enough detail. There are 8 principles that were released by the Indigenous Working Group. It's a bit of a task off the top of your head. Can you name those 8 principles?
Well, the 8 principles are involving Indigenous people, that they will get to say. The principles are as well what it won't do. The principles are that it won't be a funding body, that it won't be a body that runs programs, that it won't usurp, that is, it won't have a right of veto going forward, that it will have local and community bases as well, that it, in addition to that, that it won't replace existing bodies. It will work with them going forward. They're the principles going forward. But the question before the people of Australia is very clear going forward. The question is simply this: in recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as the first peoples of Australia. So that's the recognition bit. Then there's 3 specific constitutional changes as well. There shall be a body to be called the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice, straightforward. Second is the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice may make representation to Parliament and the Executive Government on matters relating to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And the third is that the Parliament, subject to this Constitution, have power to make laws with respect to the composition, functions, powers and procedures of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice. Now, it's very clear of what that does. It gives them a voice, but it also doesn't usurp the Parliament. So there are a range of discussion. We've set up 2 groups as well, that referendum working groups, that are broadly representative, that have people like Ken Wyatt, the former minister, participating in it. They will release in the coming months further detail of what the voice is. So, for example, one of the issues is how do they have gender representation? The idea is to have equal and also representation of young people and representation of other groups as well. How do they feed into the process? That detail will be out there, and there'll be a whole process during the year. You currently have the referendum machinery provisions bill being inquired into. That debate will take place when Parliament sits. But then you'll have to have a process of the bill being introduced, of what the question is. And the extraordinary thing that I find is that I gave a speech at Garma in July last year. I haven't had one suggestion from anyone in the coalition of a change to any of that wording. And that's what people will vote for.